Again, this is take two for my second video. My last video was posted 5 days ago, maybe. It's your girl, Lisa Hollis, and I'm pretty much just rambling and talking about my mental health. And I hope that these conversations that I have are helpful for others as much as they are for me. So here we go. I think I'll just get into, I think my main topic today will be about arguing, specifically with your spouse, and I guess boundaries. I think those are the only topics I'm going to talk about today because they came up a bit during the past couple of days. So, my partner, his name is Chad. He is the best thing that's ever happened to me. He's very challenging. He's very funny. He's amazing. He's a great dad. He is a great spouse, and I couldn't imagine living without him. I'm very thankful that I chose to like him on Facebook or add him, which I'll talk about some other time. That whole us getting together was pretty funny, but we're here now. So Chad and I are both, I think we're both okay with, in regards to each other, we're okay with saying what's on our mind. And with that comes arguments, and that's okay because I think we're learning that arguing is normal, and arguing is not a finite thing, and it doesn't mean that we don't love each other. We both come from a childhood or childhoods that involve toxic relationships or just so many other things along those lines. And I think being adults, we want to unlearn those things. I think that's very important for anyone. As an adult, I think a lot of us have childhood traumas and childhood problems, but we can't fully blame ourselves as adults on our past. I think that's unacceptable, and I don't find that to be okay. I validate anybody's problems that they've gone through as youths, but as an adult, you got to take those steps to be better for yourself because no one else is going to do that for you. So that being said, Chad and I have been working on just ourselves a lot. We've been working on just figuring out our sobriety. Even this weekend, we chose to drink with my family, and that was really fun. I'm very proud of us for having the maturity and the growth to know what our limit was. We stayed in that limit, and we had a great time. I'll talk about sobriety a bit more in my other videos, but that being said, as I went on my trip, or we went on our trip, we had Raven, had my mom. They're both great. I think there's times where I feel like I'm not getting enough help. And that's not to say I didn't get help. I did get help that whole weekend, which made it a lot easier to have as much fun as I did. I think I need to become more comfortable with asking for more help. If you need more help, I'm starting to tell myself that, just ask for it. There's nothing wrong with needing help. And I don't want myself to start feeling guilty for needing that help or resentful for doing things on my own because I'm just going to end up being sorry, I'm looking outside, but you can get quite resentful not asking for things, not asking for help, not asking for support. So that's one of the biggest things I've been wanting to work on is just being okay with asking or telling somebody or Chad, my partner, that I need them. And that's just something that I've been working on with Chad. And through that, we still, again, have arguments. There's times where I don't ask correctly. There's times where you can be passive-aggressive with your spouse, which is something that I still do. Where you kind of make noises, or you're grunting or sighing, or rolling your eyes, or stomping around them, and none of that's okay. I apologized to Chad this weekend about just kind of my behaviors in that sense. I can be quite passive-aggressive, and that's something I want to work on. Just ask for help. That's what I am working on doing myself. But the other thing too is your spouse can't read your mind. And even if they feel like they should be helping, unless somebody tells you, hey, I need your help, most people, including myself, are going to be like, hey, they didn't ask, I'm not going to do it. It's just how it is. And that's how people are. Like, that's, yeah. So, even then, Chad and I kind of just had our disagreements. And we did choose not to talk to each other for like a day, which I don't like doing. That gives me anxiety and it makes me uncomfortable. And I know he doesn't like it. So I think I apologized like the next day. And I apologized to him for not apologizing sooner. And we both have just worked on just communicating better. He immediately forgave me, and I just I knew that he felt the same way. Sometimes you both don't need to apologize. I think one person in the couple being okay with saying, hey, I'm sorry that my communication wasn't working and that I wasn't being respectful in a way. I don't think I need that apology back sometimes. I just prefer for that moment to be forgiven and for us to move on. Chad apologizes when he needs to as well. And yeah, so Chad and I still argue quite a bit. And it's just, even when we're doing good, I think we just fucking get on each other's nerves. I think your spouse can be the most annoying person you're ever with in a relationship, not just when it comes to family, friends, blah blah blah, colleagues. Your spouse can be the most fucking annoying, and I think it's because they know you, and I think it's because you think that they should know you enough. And I think that's where arguments come in most of the time. You have this assumption of your partner, and they don't meet that assumption, or they don't meet that standard that you haven't shared with them, or they just don't care to try and meet. That's something Chad and I have been working on. It's just, one, not having those secret standards for each other because you can just share them with each other, and also just being okay with doing things for each other and not having to have that, what's the word? That task, or I guess that gesture that you did for them, it doesn't have to be returned. It should just be done because you love that person. Chad and I do a lot of cleaning because we have 3 kids. So I think both of us have been working on just stepping up our cleaning in general. And that's something that has erased most of our arguments. If we both put in the work to clean, straight up, we're both happy campers. We both put in work to cook, we're both happy campers. When it comes to our sex life, we're very open about that. We are comfortable asking to have sexual relations with each other on a regular basis. And if we don't do it in that moment, we know that it'll happen soon. We're very okay. I think communication is the biggest part of succeeding when it comes to arguing and just in general with being happy with each other. And going back to just doing a bit more so we don't have to ask as much I think is a very good thing to do. If you're proactive and you're hey, I know this, I know my spouse doesn't doing this, I'm just going to do it. They notice that shit. I notice that shit when Chad does it for me. And I know he notices when I do it for him. If he comes home and the kitchen's clean, he's going to lay it down that night. 100%. So it's a win-win. And when he makes dinner, and when he gets Raven put to bed, and when he gets the kids ready for bed, I'm going to lay it down that night. So it's just they're not sexual favors, but your partner is much more open to do sexual things when you have the time to do it because you guys are cleaning and you guys are making the house easy to live in. I think that solves a lot of arguments. Just being proactive and understanding you don't have to know your partner that much to know hey, I'm happy when I'm in a clean house. I'm happy when I'm fed. I'm sure your partner feels the same way. And yeah, you're tired after a long day, but even then, I'm saying, along with that, you don't have to be sexual all the time. I think choosing to spend time with each other, playing board games or drawing or talking about a book that you read, watching your favorite like game shows together, watching your favorite show together, like that's dope. Or playing video games. Chad and I play a lot of video games. It really help like prevent like feeling like you're on the go all the time. And then when you're on the go all the time and you're not getting stuff necessarily done around the house, it's easier to build up like that energy where you guys tend to argue. It does for me anyways. So summing up like arguments in general, having open communication as well as being the first to apologize and being proactive about little things. I think those are all important to kind of help prevent arguments as well as just how to deal with them when they're there. The last part is boundaries, very short and simple. Be okay with saying no. I've been learning to do that the past couple months. I'm not that great at that. I still have a lot of work to do, but saying no. Like, no. You don't have to be like how I just said it. You don't have to be like that. But just say no, I'm good, or I don't want to do it. Like, that can be the only reason, and that is the only explanation you need to give. Or just say no, no thank you, but thank you for asking, and I love you. Most of the time, when you say no, it's to your spouse, or to your kids, or blah, blah. Mainly family. So for me, I'm just learning to say, well, you know what? No, I don't. I'm not going to be able to do that. Or I'm not going to do that. But it doesn't mean I don't love you. And it doesn't mean that I won't find time to do something else with you. I think people feel like they're bad as a whole for not meeting other people's schedules or like events or things that they have in their life. You have your own life. Do your own shit, or don't do anything. You don't have to have a reason not to want to do something, or not to be able to do something. Most of the time for me, it's because I don't want to. And that's fine. That's why we're all different. Just learn to say no. Or learn to say no with the combination of making a plan to do something later. And if they can't accept that and respect that, that is all on them. Straight up. Like, I think anybody that's your spouse, your friends, your family, if they can't respect you saying no, and respect your space, your time, and your energy, like, be okay with not talking to them for a bit. Or, like, you know, telling them, like, hey, we need to talk about this at some point to figure out why they're having this issue, because ultimately it's not your problem. But at the same time, like, I'm sure others would want the same from you. Like, if they say, no, I can't make it. I do not want anybody to feel like they have to fake anything to say, like, they don't want to go to something. Even if it's the same day. Like, I get it if you've planned something big. But if it's like, hey, come over and hang out. Or, hey, let's go get a coffee. If somebody says no to me, like, I don't mind. I know you're in my life. I know you're not going nowhere. Like, if I need to find you, I'll find you. Like, that's how I am with everybody. Like, I'm not going to hold somebody and tell them, oh, I can't be friends with you anymore because you didn't come and do this with me. I don't care. I love the people that are in my life, and I love when I get to see them. But if somebody is like, hey, I don't want to do something today, that's all you got to say. We find time for each other, and we know that we love each other. So boundaries are important. That's pretty much all I have today. This was very helpful for me. I hope that whoever watches this enjoys it, get some clarifications on things and kind of perspective. Yeah, that's it.